back to my revision channel. Just a quick disclaimer, I thought I would clear this up now, like in my first video. I don't plan on doing these videos with a full face of makeup. I don't plan on doing them with fancy studio lighting. I don't really plan on doing any of it like that, if that makes sense, because they're just revision videos. They're not main channel videos. They're just going to be a lot more simple, and ignore all the noise outside. Because honestly there's just not really much point in me like making them all fancy, because it's the content that you're here to listen to, not the way that the video is like structured. So yeah, and also I'm filming this on my vlog camera, not because I can't be asked to use my normal camera. I can't find my camera charger, like the thing that charges the battery for my normal camera, and I've looked everywhere but I can't find it. So I'm going to be using my vlog camera for today, because I can't find my main channel charger anywhere. But yeah, today's video is going to be a back to school advice video. It's going to be structured in the fact that I'm answering your questions, but it is also just me giving you advice and things like that. So I'm just going to get started. I have quite a few questions, so I'm just going to work my way through them. The first question is, how do you revise grammar for languages? I want to do an entire video on this, but my main advice for revising grammar is practice. Like, you can learn the theory all you want, but if you don't apply it to what you're actually doing, it's going to be no use. So look online, you can find worksheets, ask your teacher if they've got a grammar workbook, because my teachers gave me some grammar workbooks to do, and just ask around, or you can get them on Amazon. And just practice, because practice makes perfect with grammar, and I'm nowhere near perfect. What are you most excited for in sixth form? I would say I'm most excited for having a little bit more time to independent study, and having like frees, because I like to get all my work done while I'm at school, so it's going to make my life a lot easier, because I'm not going to have to work during lunch. I can just work in frees. And also having like a common room so I can have like a cup of tea and coffee and stuff like that. So yeah. How do you deal with the pressure of exams? The pressure of exams is probably one of the biggest problems for students these days. Obviously it's quite a lot of pressure. What you have to do is you have to shut the pressure out, and you need to figure out where the pressure's coming from and like stop that source of pressure. So for me, the only place I ever felt pressure from was myself. So obviously that's quite a difficult place to stop pressure, but if it's from teachers, friends, family, then sit down and talk to them and be like, I feel really pressured by you and I need you to like lay off a bit, and it makes life a bit easier. When do you think you should start revising for exams? It depends on what the exams are / how important they are. So for mocks, I started revising like 3 weeks to a month before, because they're just mocks, but they are also important to a degree because you want to do well in them. And then for main exams, I started revising at the end of February, so that's like two and a bit months. So it really does depend on the exams that you're taking, how many exams you've got, and also how much you think you need to revise. So I would say for GCSEs, like end of February is a good time to start, but obviously if you've got more exams than I did, then you might want to start a bit earlier. If you've got less, you want to start a bit later. And it all depends on like how much you're willing to revise in that time as well. So yeah. What was the worst part of year 11? The worst part of year 11 was, I would say, controlled assessments. I just hated controlled assessments. Like, now I'm grateful that we had them because they dragged my grade up and stuff, but overall I just hated control assessments. There was just unnecessary pressure, especially the ones that were around mock season, because I was just not having it. I just couldn't cope with them. Are there any YouTubers that you would recommend for revision? I have put a list of YouTubers on my featured channels who helped me through year 11, and those are the ones that I swear by and that I would use all the time. Specifically Mr. Bruff, who is just amazing for English. Like, I owe most of my English grade to him. Primrose Kitten, amazing for science, so good at explaining and really good about 6-mark questions and past papers. And Free Science Lessons, who I just don't know what I would have done without him. He explains things so quickly and simply, and it just made my life 10 times easier. What advice would you give on keeping on top of sixth form work and working evenings and weekends? Well, I haven't started sixth form yet, so I can't give you advice on keeping on top of sixth form work, but in work in general, if you're working evenings and weekends, I do kind of feel your pain, because I have extracurriculars pretty much every night of the week, so that's like 2-3 hours out of my evenings. I don't work weekends obviously, but I do have YouTube videos to do and things, so I think the case is that you need to try and keep on top of your work, in the sense that you need to manage your time. So make sure that you set aside a couple of hours before you go to work or after you go to work where you're just going to work. You can always do work on the way to work. If you're working weekends, then that means you have to sacrifice your evenings to do work, or you have to get up earlier and do work before you go to work. It's just a case of building things around, and if you find that work is getting too much, you might want to ask your shift giver if they can like lower your shifts, because that might make your life a little bit easier. How do you keep organised with homework? This is where I cannot stress the importance of a planner. We have planners given to us at school, and as do most students, but I honestly cannot stress how important it is. Just keep on top of your homework using your planner. So write down the subject, write how much homework you've got, and write the date that it's due. And I swear to God, just do it when you get home. Don't procrastinate, but prioritise. So say if you got 3 pieces of homework due on that day, one was due for Tuesday, one was due for Friday, and one was due for the week after. Do them in order of when they're due, but still do them all the same night, but just prioritise, so in case something goes wrong, you know that the one that's due first is done. But I cannot stress the importance of just using your planner properly, and also just doing it on the night that it's set. It makes your life so much easier. Unless you physically can't, just do it on the night that it's set. It might be a chore at the time, but once you've actually done it, it's fine. How bad are you expecting A-levels to be? I just don't even want to think about them, to be honest, because I'm actually expecting them to be pretty horrendous. So we're just going to pretend that they're going to be fine and just move past like the rest of it. What do most people get wrong about year 11? I think a lot of people think that year 11 is just stress, 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 stress. And yes, it is the most stressful school year that you will have encountered work-wise, but I actually found it the most enjoyable because I was always doing stuff, and you learn a lot, and revision can actually be quite fun when you're doing it with your friends. So I think a lot of people, me myself included, was like dreading year 11 because they thought it was going to be awful. But if you make it awful, then it will be. But if you put the effort in and you work hard and you just get stuff done when it's given you, you will keep on top of things. And yes, there will be times where you won't be on top of things, or you won't feel like you're on top of things, but you always will be, and it'll always end up fine. And then on results day, getting the results that reflect how hard you've worked in the last year, it is really worth it. Is doing 2 languages at GCSE hard? No, I don't think so. In fact, they were 2 of the subjects that I felt the most confident about. It depends on what languages you're taking. I suppose if you're taking French and Spanish, they might overlap a little bit, but German and Spanish never really overlapped. You know, there were some times where I got a bit confused, but I actually found that doing 2 languages helped because you're using the same skills for 2 subjects, so you don't have to like learn new skills for 2 separate subjects, if that makes sense. It's like doing the 3 sciences. You use the same things to apply for all 3 sciences, so it's the same with languages. Did you put full effort into year 10? I did not put full effort into year 10. I just kind of went through year 10. I did the work and I did the control. I put full effort into my control assessments, and I kept on top of my work, and I did well in my mocks, in my end of year mocks. But I didn't like start revising in year 10. I didn't think about GCSE exams in year 10. I just kind of went along with it. The only subject that I wish that I'd have put more effort into in year 10 was English, because I found that in year 11 I had to do a lot to, because in year 10 I literally just dismissed English and just was like, no, I'm not doing it, because I hated it. But in year 11, when I realised that I do actually like it, and I had to do a lot more work to like get it back up to the standard that it needed to be. Please ignore the drilling. Someone's doing building works outside and I can't do anything about it. I can't remember if you've said this, but what are you taking next year and why did you choose them? So I am taking Spanish, German, politics and English literature. So I chose Spanish and German because I've always enjoyed languages and I would like to use them in a career someday. Languages have always been my strongest subjects, even though I didn't do as well in them in my actual GCSE than I have been throughout the year, but that was due to control assessments not being marked like how they were said that they were going to be marked and stuff. But that's a totally different story, because A-level is 100% GCSE, no, 100% exam, so control assessments are not an issue. So yeah, I chose them because they're the subjects that I'm most passionate about. My language teacher said that I should take them for A-level. I thought that I should take them for A-level, and it's always just kind of been what I've wanted to take since like halfway through year 10. I took English literature. I don't know why I'm taking English literature, to be honest. I mean, I really enjoy it as a subject, and especially American literature I find really, really interesting. I did really well in it at GCSE, surprisingly, considering I hated it up until like November of year 11. But I did realise with the help of my English teacher that I do actually love English Lit, as much as I said that I didn't. So yeah, I'm taking English Lit because it's one that I'm taking not because I know I'll get a good grade in it, but because I enjoy it. Like the other ones I'm taking because I feel like I'll be able to get A's in them if I put the effort in. English Lit probably I won't be able to get an A in. I'm hoping for like maybe a B or a C, but I'm just taking it because I enjoy it, and I'll probably drop it at the end of year 12 if I find it as hard as I think I'm going to find it. But yeah, and I'm taking politics because it's like history but it's not history, and I feel like politics is the one that I'm going to do the best in. I really enjoy politics, I'm really interested in it, the syllabus looks really good, the style of exam is really good, and I just feel like it's going to be the subject that I enjoy the most at A-level, but we'll have to see, won't we? Do you believe in the idea of starting A-level revision the day you start sixth form? I don't, I just feel like that's a bit OTT, but I do believe in the idea of when you've got back from your lesson, like consolidate what you know, like write it in note form, and just do your notes as you go along, because it just makes your life easier at the end of it. But I don't believe in like solid revision from the start of sixth form, because you don't know what you need to be revising or what your exam format is or anything like that, so there's no point. Best way to stay focused during a long class? I would say if you were like me and you had like doubles, like double biology was always a killer. I had 2-hour doubles, and that is a long time to stay focused. I think if you find yourself drifting, what you need to do is you need to like let yourself drift for a couple of minutes and then just like snap out of it, and just, it's really hard to like, make sure you have water. I feel like water is a big key factor in whether you're focused or not. I find that when I haven't drank enough I get really dehydrated and drowsy, so make sure that you have water and you keep drinking water, and maybe like try and focus on writing notes, because I find that when I'm writing notes it's a lot easier for me to stay focused than when I'm just staring at a board or listening to a teacher. So even if they don't want you to make notes, just make like rough notes, even if you're not going to use them, because I find that writing down helps you focus on what's being said more. What do you do to prepare yourself for the first day back to school? To prepare myself for the first day back to school, I usually just relax the day before. Like next Tuesday I plan on doing nothing, I'm just going to relax and make sure that everything's packed in my bag on the night before. So on the Tuesday I don't have to do anything, have a nice shower, watch some films, and just enjoy your last day of not being in hell, basically. That's what I do. What's your favourite subject in school? At GCSE my favourite subject was either Spanish or German. Those are the ones that I enjoyed the lessons the most and the teachers the most and just everything. English Lit was a close second to that. I always would say that history was a favourite subject too. I loved history. The only reason I didn't take it for A-level was because I didn't like the syllabus for A-level, so there was no point in me taking it. But yeah, history was always a really good subject, hence why I'm taking politics. It is quite similar in the fact that I have the same teachers and it's the same style of lesson and same style exam, so I guess politics in a way. But yeah, German and Spanish for sure. I actually found myself enjoying Spanish more than I did German at the end of year 11, and I did better in Spanish than I did in German, so yeah. Do you enjoy school? I do enjoy school. I like learning. I'm just a learning sort of person. I don't enjoy exams, but I enjoy going to lessons, doing homework, getting feedback on it. Yeah, I do like school, and I'm not going to be given hate for liking school or anything, because I think it's good if you like school. And what motivates me is sort of just the fact that it's for your future. It's a few years of your life, for the rest of your life. So, what was the hardest GCSE you sat? For me, the hardest GCSE that I sat was English language. I hated English language with every inch of my being. I just didn't get it, I just couldn't do it. That was the exam I did the worst in, but I still managed to scrape an A* because of my control assessments. I hated it. I hated creative writing. I hated like analysing passage. I just hated English language as just like a whole subject. It was my least favourite subject. I just hated it. What websites do you recommend for looking at university courses? Still trying to pick my A-level subjects. I would recommend UCAS. UCAS is really good. You can type in what university you want to go to or what course you want to do, and then they'll say what A-levels they recommend and what grade you need. That's what I used when I was looking for my A-level options. But my A-level options, I can go into like a hell of a lot of careers. Like I can do what I want with my A-level options, but if you want something more specific like medicine or things like that, then it's best to look on UCAS. I'm going into year 9 and choosing my GCSE options. How do you know what happens if you don't get all your preferred choices? If you don't get your preferred choices, you will be given your second or third choices. That didn't happen to many people at my school. It does tend to happen at A level, but not so much at GCSE. If that happens, it's for the best, and honestly, I don't think you'll be that upset about it, like, once you actually get into the swing of things. Worst comes to worst, you can just, like, complain to the school, but then there still isn't really much they can do. How do you keep yourself awake while studying? My motto is, if you are too tired and you're drifting off, you need to stop. Like, currently I am doing English literature reading for A level because there was a reading list, so I'm working my way through. I've done 2 and this is my 3rd one. There's 4 to read. I just can't. But if I find myself drifting off, there's no point in trying to push through, trying to read it or trying to study. Like, last year when I was revising for GCSEs, if I found that I was literally, like, couldn't stay awake, I'd put my books down, I'd go and get a Diet Coke or coffee, I'd watch some TV, I'd just do something else for a bit, because clearly you're not in the right frame of mind. So if you find yourself falling asleep, you either need to sleep for longer at night, or make sure that you're not, like, wearing yourself out. What subject are you the most excited to study at A level? This is hard because all 4 of the subjects that I'm taking I enjoy a lot. I don't think I'm excited to study languages just because I know that there's a lot of grammar at A level, and grammar was always the thing I just avoided, so I'm not particularly as excited to study languages. Like, I love languages, don't get me wrong, but I feel like they're going to be really difficult. I would say probably politics, just because I feel like that is the subject that I'm going to enjoy the most, and I don't know, I'm just really excited to study it because the syllabus looks really interesting. It was the same at GCSE. I was really excited to study history because I love the syllabus. And English I am also excited about, but the excitement is mainly counterbalanced by the dread. The fact that I'm just going to tank it, so yeah. So those are all of the questions that I have for today. I hope that some of this advice and some of my answers were useful to you guys. If it was, then be sure to give it a thumbs up. We'll see if we can get this to 2,000 likes. Thank you for 10,000 subscribers on this channel already. Be sure to tell your friends and family, anyone that's taking exams, that I'm here. And please do leave requests down below, because I am doing this channel purely based on request. I'm not going to be uploading super regularly. I'm just going to upload when I have the time. Obviously, when I'm going back to school for the first couple of weeks, I am just going to want to focus on A levels. So just give me a bit of time to get used to being back in the swing of things, and hopefully I should be back to uploading on here. I am going to try and upload once more before I go back to school, but we'll have to see how that goes. So let me know what you want me to upload down below, and whichever is the most liked comment I'll upload. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed filming it, and I will see you very soon with a new video on one of my channels. Okay, bye!